Some people grow up with food on the table, a roof over their head, and a family that looked fine from the outside, but still carry a deep emotional wound into adulthood. Not because they were always yelled at, not because something dramatic happened, but because no one really noticed what they felt. And when a child grows up emotionally unseen, they often learn one painful habit. They stop trusting their own emotions. 1. What it means to be emotionally unseen. Being emotionally unseen does not always look obvious. Sometimes it sounds like, "You're too sensitive," or "Stop crying," or "You're fine," or "It's not a big deal." When that happens over and over, a child starts to believe that their inner world is inconvenient, exaggerated, or unimportant. So instead of learning how to understand their feelings, they learn how to hide them. 2. The struggle they carry into adulthood. As adults, many of these people do not just feel pain. They question whether they are even allowed to feel it. They second-guess themselves. They minimize what hurt them. They tell themselves they're overreacting. They look to other people to confirm whether their emotions are valid before they can trust their own experience. So the real struggle is not just emotional pain. It is emotional self-doubt. 3. How this shows up in everyday life. This can show up in small ways that quietly shape everything. They may overexplain why they're hurt just to be taken seriously. They may apologize for having needs. They may struggle to set boundaries because part of them believes their discomfort is not a good enough reason. And when someone asks, "How are you really doing?" they may go blank because they were never taught how to check in with themselves in the first place. Often, they become very tuned into other people's emotions while feeling disconnected from their own. 4. Why this happens. Psychologically, children learn who they are through reflection. When a caregiver notices, names, and responds to a child's feelings, that child learns, "My emotions make sense. I can trust what I feel." But when that reflection is missing, the child adapts. They learn that staying connected to others may require disconnecting from themselves. That is not weakness. That is survival. 5. What healing can look like. Healing often begins with a very simple but powerful shift. Not asking, "Am I too much for feeling this?" but asking, "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" Learning to name your emotions, honor your limits, and spend time with safe people who listen instead of dismissing. These are small acts that rebuild self-trust. And that matters. Because your feelings do not need a defense lawyer. They need your attention. If you were not emotionally seen growing up, you may have learned to abandon yourself before anyone else could. But that pattern can be understood. And slowly, it can change. Sometimes healing starts the moment you realize this. Your emotions were never the problem. Being unseen was.